Peace, peace, everyone. Hopefully, you all can hear me, see me. Put a one in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, coming back again to get back into conversation we finished off at last round when we were dealing with. Let me see if I could turn off some of these notifications. All right. So yeah, man, we were talking about give thanks on the radio. Yeah, give thanks for the one. Yeah, we were talking about just Peter Tosh. It started with Peter Tosh, but we were really building on artistry in general and what it means to be an artist. So I've been building on that idea, and I I had a hard time separating the idea of being an artist from the idea of being just a person. What I was used to doing or used to hearing or used to thinking growing up. And it wasn't until I heard that one clip of him just being totally unfiltered in that interview that it sort of sparked something in me. And not to say that it's a new sensation or anything like that, because I definitely felt that way before about numerous things throughout my life, where it's like something's wrong here and I don't like it, and I'm gonna say exactly what it is that's wrong. Whether you like it or not. If it's the truth, then I don't have to hide behind anything. And I always admired artists, and no matter what the art form, I always admired artists who would just people who would speak the truth, no matter what. As accurately as they could see it. Doesn't have to be like the secrets of the universe, but it definitely had to be a direct, unfiltered interpretation of what it is that they were experiencing. You know, totally devoid of the fear or self-editing that most people demand nowadays when you're in certain spaces. But yeah, man, I want to play some music, um, and then I'm gonna get back into this. I'm gonna keep playing some Peter Tosh, and some other artists. Who I felt were very resolute in their stance that they were in it for the elevation of the art and not necessarily, just to make money. Peace, Himalaya. Peace, peace. Yeah. By the way, let me know if the music is too loud or if you can hear it at all. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. You preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. You are the beat and you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold, and half the story has never been told. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Brothers, stand up for your rights. And right on cue every Tuesday. Bye.
Great God will come from the skies and take away everything and left everybody dry. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours right here on earth. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Don't make them push you around. Stand up for all your rights. Come on, brothers, get up, stand up. Be brave now, don't give up the fight. I say get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Don't let them hold you down. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Sick and tired of this game of technology. Humbly asking Jesus for his mercy. We know and we understand. Almighty Jah, living man. You fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Come on, brothers, get up, stand up. I said, don't give up the fight. Don't let them. I said, get up, stand up. train, I'm leaving, leaving. But I say, stop the train, I'm leaving. I said it won't be too long, whether I'm right or wrong. Won't be too long, whether I'm right or wrong. Some always, some still decide to do their best. Some of the big, but the most is small. They can't even find no food at all.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. There we go.
Stop the train, I'm leaving. Stop the train, I'm leaving. Stop the train, I'm leaving. I said it won't be too long, whether I'm right or wrong. Won't be too long, whether I'm right or wrong. Stop the train, I'm leaving. Stop the train, I'm leaving. When I say stop the train, I'm leaving. Said it won't be too long. Down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? Down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? Down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? Oh, you gonna run to the sea, but the sea will be boiling when you run to the sea. The sea will be boiling when you run to the sea. And the sea will be boiling all along that day. You gotta run to the rocks. The rocks will be melting when you run to the rocks. The rocks will be melting when you run to the rocks. The rocks will be melting, I said, all along the day. So I said, down, Brissom, where you gonna run to? I said, down, Brissom, where you gonna run to? I said, down, Brissom, where you gonna run to? Oh, on that day. You drink a big champagne and laugh. You drink a big champagne and laugh. You drink a big champagne and laugh. All along that day. I wouldn't like to be a flea. Under your command, I wouldn't like to be a flea. Under your command, I wouldn't like to be a flea. Under your collar, all along that day. run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. Telling you all along that way. You're gonna run to the Lord. Begging him to hide you. You're gonna run to the Lord. Begging him to hide you. You're gonna run to Jah. Begging him to hide you. Oh, along the sea. And I said, down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to? Down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? I said, all along that line. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Where? Down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? Down, press a man. I don't know where you gonna run to. All along that way, down, press a man. You can't run, you can't ride, Jah. Can't call you in a bar. We can drink some, and then soup. Can't ride them around the corner. Can't test in the face. Down, press a man. Lord, down, press a man. I said, down, press a man. Don't run, down, press a man. Down, press a man. Where you gotta run to? Down, press a man. You can't bribe no one. Them no one no money. They run that money. That money get funny. If you wanna live, treat me good. If you wanna live, I beg you treat me good. I'm like a walking razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous. Say I'm dangerous. I'm like a walking razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous. Dangerous. If you are a bully, treat me good. If you are a bully, I beg you treat me good. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous. Dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous. Dangerous. If you are a jockey, you better chuck it from me. If you are a jockey, you better chuck it from me. my side, I'm dangerous. If you eat that fault, you treat me good. If you drink like soup, you better treat me good. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my side. I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my side. I'm dangerous, dangerous. You are bulldog, no bother about me. If you are me, away from me. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my side. Stepping razor, walking lines, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you wanna live, treat me good. Wanna live, if you wanna live, you better treat me good. I'm like a stepping walking, stepping jumping, I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. I'm like a stepping jumping, alright, I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. If you drink, mother, treat me good. And if you eat break, treat me good. I'm like a flashing light in a rolling thunder. I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my sides. I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. Oh, alright. That guy put him out from the spot in Chad and things so let us chop through the earth. And I said, God is here. Just smile, man, and make your face stop hurt you, man. Treat me good. If you wanna live, you better treat me good. I know some bluntly. You know, go through one thing. I'm the tribulation. Yes, I know. All your name will be here to represent. If you wanna live, good. You could have drink like soup. I'm dangerous. You could have eat a fast. I'm dangerous. You could have eat bread and crackers. I'm dangerous. But I now look no war. I'm dangerous. Look at his father. But he's dangerous. I saw the sun. I'm dangerous. Everyone is crying out for peace, yes. None is crying out for justice. Everyone is crying out for peace, yeah. None is crying out for justice. and justice. I need equal rights and justice. Got to get it. Equal rights and justice. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die for the rest of Jesus. Everybody wants to go up to heaven, but none of them want to die. I don't want no peace. I need equal rights and justice. I've got to get equal rights and justice. I really need it. Equal rights and justice. Just give me my share. Equal rights and justice. What is due to Caesar? You better give it on to Caesar. And what belongs to I, you better give it up. Cause I don't want no peace and it equal rights and justice. I need your rights and justice. I got to get it. Equal rights and justice. I'm fighting for it. Equal rights and justice. Everyone headed for the top. But tell me how far is it from the bottom? Nobody knows, but everybody fighting to reach the top. How far is it from the bottom? I don't want no equal rights. Just I need equal rights and justice. I've got equal rights and justice. I really need equal rights and justice. Everyone is talking about crime. Tell me who are the criminals? I said everybody's talking about crime. Tell me who are the criminals? I really don't see. I don't want no peace. I need equal rights and justice. We got to get equal rights and justice. I will be no crime. Equal rights and justice. There will be no criminals. Equal rights and justice. Everyone is fighting for equal rights. Justice, Palestine is fighting for equal rights. Justice, down in Angola, equal rights. Justice, down in Botswana, equal rights. Justice, down in Zimbabwe, equal rights. Justice, down in Russia, equal rights.
Yeah, man. So just touching on the rawness. Yeah, right. That Duffy came from his heart. Yeah, so just scroll up a little bit. So true. It takes courage. I think that's a huge responsibility that an artist has. Okay, I get you on the radio. I think you were talking about um, what I was speaking about earlier about an artist like keeping his integrity and focusing more on elevating the actual art form as opposed to trying to gain um, fame or going primarily after money, right? And I definitely agree. And I think the thing is, many artists agree. Um, well, some say they agree until they get a little bit of success, and then that sort of changes, because they see that it's more difficult to pay their bills, or they realize it would be much easier if they just relented and just took the gigs that were coming at them, because you're commodified when you get into a public space and people like your message or they're influenced by what you say or what you do. And there are many elements and forces at work that would try to get you to endorse them, basically. Endorse my product, and I'll basically pay you for it, because the more people who want to be like you, the more um, dollar zeros I can add onto my checks, that keep coming in, and the more I can add to you, right? So I scratch your back, you scratch mine, which is funny because people often call them endorsement deals, but you would think that the artist is getting endorsed, but it's actually the product that's getting endorsed by the artist. That's, I don't know. It's funny. It's a funny play on words. Yeah, we'll give you an endorsement deal. Just wear, I don't know, wear Pumas for the rest of the year or for the next 5 years. Just wear it. You don't even have to announce that you like us. If you like us enough to wear us that much, then people will just put two and two together. But is that something you want to do? Whatever you want to do. You don't have to necessarily want to be an artist. You could want to be an inventor or an engineer and say, I'm going to revolutionize um, battery cells and make sure that they can actually hold and sustain um, readily accessible sources of energy, whether it's that new wind turbine that they're building that looks like a giant vibrator, or something that is revolutionizing the way that we think things work. We may have one idea of one way that it could work, but it's actually like in the early stages of what could actually be. So I just wanted to touch on that too. Oh, peace, Emma Yakira Eden. Did I say a big word? I don't know if I said a big word. I might have. Yeah. Usually, if you say a word with more than 5 syllables, Emma Yakira Eden will appear. Yeah, man. Um, but I really wanted to touch on this topic. I thought it was really important for just what I've been meditating on lately about what it is you want to do, um, as opposed to what you think you can. You know, some people say, I do what I can. I'm doing all right. But it's not necessarily, I'm fulfilling my mission. And sometimes I can get to people over time, because you're not doing what you ought to do, and it eats away at you, and you wonder if you should just relent and do what everyone says you should do. And for everyone who may have babies in the room, children, yeah, I'm gonna play another clip This is from my favorite comedian. Not necessarily just because he's funny, because he is, but because he has a very natural approach to the way he does his art form, and it aligns with his personal philosophy. So whether you see him on stage or off stage, like it's him. He actually rarely writes jokes. He just talk. He just talks, and whatever sticks, it sticks, and he'll keep it for a little while, and then he'll throw away and do something new. Um, yeah. So one final warning. You know, I gotta give the profanity warnings. Uh, Profanity. I gotta give the bad word warnings or the sentence enhancers before I get into it. All right, so this is Patrice O'Neal. I know our new radio know this was coming, but this is Patrice O'Neal in an interview. You can find the full interview on YouTube. I think it's called Unmasked. But he's touching on something that I've been thinking about lately. Yeah, since late last year, but it's been getting stronger moving into this year. So this is just his stance on, what he's attempting to do as an artist.
What is it that you're trying to do here? What are you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It ain't make money
Mm-hmm.
because I'm stuck. Like everybody else, like Carlos was saying, I want to buy my mom a house. Yeah, I do too. Everybody want to buy.
Right.
But one thing I learned about this game early is it's a lonely game. It's a lonely journey. It's really hard. Like my mother didn't support me. She supports me now, but it's one of them things. It's like this shit is a dream, and you ever try to. Dreams are something you do by yourself. You have a dream and then try to tell somebody the dream you had. You wake up like, hey, here's I was dreaming, and they be like, really? So unicorns, and then what happened? That's the same thing as saying I want to do something besides be what's already planned out. Plumber, doctor, lawyer, dentist. There's a plan. This thing here is like a leap of faith, and you just keep falling. Now, to answer your question, what I'm trying to do is be righteous. And when I say righteous, I don't mean God, God righteous. I mean, just when I wake up, I know I was honest to myself. You know what I mean? And I did the whole tap dance, dude. People be like, why do you play ball? I did it. I tap danced like you wouldn't believe. Aspen 1998. I mean, fucking like hot shoes trying to get something. What is it? Means to an end. Yeah. I was trying to get something, and I went to LA and I was sitting there. I was gaining. I was like 100 pounds bigger than I am now, dude. And I was sitting. My stomach was like fucking sitting out here, and I had 2 Whoppers with cheese because they were 99 cents. And that's all I could afford to eat every day was a Whopper cheese. They were just sitting on my stomach. And if I had a gun, dude, I'm telling you, I'd have shot myself. I understand suicide.
Because you couldn't do the act the way you wanted to.
Because I was trying to get something from what I do. And I argue with a good friend of mine, Dante. He does a show with me. Because the whole show and the business thing, I'm in complete disagreement with that. It's just that, I'm lucky enough to be able to get some money out of this shit, out of this, what I do. But it's big, man. Comedy is big. What it is being political and having, because I more want to be a cult figure. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to see if I can get people to drink, that poison lemonade or whatever.
Your cult.
I want to get people to believe in something, but not be on a platform where you should. I just want to go, look, man, this is how I feel. And if I'm true to myself, then you might go, damn, I feel that way. And somebody's saying what I'm saying, and I don't want to be a martyr. I want to make some money. But I felt the feeling of trying to make it, and that vague make it, that emptiness of I made it. What's it? You know what I'm saying? So I just do it because when a guy says to me, dude, man, you changed my life. That feels good. If a dude says you changed my life, or a woman says you changed my life for some goofy shit you did, you know, that means something. That's it. That I wanna change lives, but not be profound about it.
Yeah, so that was Patrice O'Neal. A lot of people they love him or hate him because he's very polarizing. The truth is polarizing, right? You either with the truth or you're against the truth, you know, or like Yahweh Shai would say, whoever is with me, if you're not with me, you're against me, you know, that sort of thing. If you're not with the truth, you're against the truth. And a lot of people try to top dance inside of a gray area, but you can only be either or. Either you with the truth and you understand the truth of the matter, even if the truth of the matter is, I don't have enough information to make a sound, proper judgment. You know, how you could be in between with them? Like, explain that on the radio. On the radio says she's in between. What does in between mean? You know, yeah, I love him or hate him. You know, but that's the thing too. Like, uh, don't say you love him with a but. You know, that's where a lot of people. That's how people do artists. You know, I kind of like him, but you know, and then you start editing what would make that person ideal. But that's, you know, is what that person is, and he fought his whole life to ensure that anything that came out of his mouth spoke to what he was as opposed to who he was. And that's a part of an artist's philosophy. You know, he wasn't trying to be like super spiritual or super religious about it, but he had a philosophy about the way he approached life, and he wanted to make sure that he spoke it with as much authenticity and lived it with as much authenticity as he could muster. You know, even if he wasn't the ideal. Oh, there's no in between with him. Okay, cool. I was just about to say, got some explaining to do. But yeah, man. I just wanted to play that because there's the idea that, like you were saying, why don't you play ball, you know, or why don't you do what's commercially in right now, what's commercially acceptable, and what happens with that is it's not that it's a bad idea to be savvy as to what's going on. That's not what I'm saying. But what happens is you wind up chasing a phantom because there's always going to be something in right now. And if you only do what's in as opposed to innovate, then you know you're going to be, as Chief would call it, you're going to be at the tail of the snake instead of the head of the snake. You know, we're trying to be the head, then you got to really sit back and listen to what your soul is telling you or what your spirit is telling you. It can't just be something that oh, I saw this guy doing it, so I'm going to attempt it. I saw that guy doing it, so I'm going to attempt it. And I did that for a long time, just trying to keep up with trends because I was always in and out of art, you know, in and out of drawing, in and out of focusing on artists, you know, whether they're musicians. Like a musician would be out and I'd be like, who's this? And then young people would be like, oh, this so and so. I feel old. And not that I'm old, but I'm out of touch with what's being created. And I know when I like something or when something sits with me because I usually sit up. Like I stand up like a meerkat or a deer who thinks he's about to get eaten. And I was like, what's that? You know, I got to go close and stuff like that. Like if you find some good art, you could lure me in the back of a white van. It's almost like the children where you just run, hey kid, you want a bike? Like, yeah, just hop in my van. It's like, what is that? What you playing, bro? What's that music? You know, because it's in me. Like I like the tracks. Like you have that thing in you that says, oh yeah, this is me. You don't quite know why. You know, and the more you learn about the person, the more you realize like that actually is me. You know, that's a very similar story to mine, or it's a very similar philosophy to mine. And I didn't really realize they had that philosophy. It was just something about this person's aura that attracted me. You know, I grew to like Patrice O'Neal just through proxy. You know, someone else was talking about a lot of the topics that he would touch on, and I didn't realize like he was they got into a beef with actually the same friend Dante who Patrice mentioned in the video. They got into like a back and forth with them because he's like, "Yo, you basically stealing his material, or you." And it wasn't his material; it's his life philosophy, and you're making a platform off of it. You know, so they talk about it. He's like, "No, you really inspired me." Da 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 da. They went in back and forth with it, but that's the thing. No one should be able to say you stole what my friend did, um, what they built throughout their life. No one should be able to say you're being a copycat without giving any type of recognition or, oh, that's the same strand. Is it? Oh, okay. That's what I did. Okay. Yeah, so it's not like someone can just run up on you and be like, you stole this. It's like, nah, this is what I came to the planet with. This is mine. You know, that's the type of um impact that this is just my own philosophy. So it's not my opinion, it's just my philosophy. Is what I consider to be the mark of me being successful. It's like no matter what, I want to get to the part to the level where I don't have to sign nothing as an artist. You know, someone could just look at it and be like you see a Banksy, which is a muralist slash graffiti artist. You see one of his works and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's Banksy. Even people who don't know nothing about art, it's like, oh, Banksy, yeah, I know him. You know, because he's been featured in the news, you know, and he does a unique type of work. And there are a lot of similar people who do that type of work. Like I wanted to do something like that. Like someone could see it and automatically know it's me. But listening to artists like Peter Tosh is like, nah, it's not even what you bring to yourself. You know, we can say I do this for Jah, it's not for me. You know, it's for the Most High. It's not for me. It's not self-aggrandizement. It's I was given a task to come here and emanate a certain vibration, right? Or even the name of the early group, the Wailing Wailers, you know, which eventually turned to Bob Marley and the Wailers, or just the Wailers, you know. External forces started calling it Bob Marley and the Wailers. But just even just the Wailing Wailers, when they started out, when it was just Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, and Bob Marley, the whole idea or concept behind the Wailers or to wail is like you're singing, you know, but it's either you're crying out loud or you're expressing yourself vocally, right? That's what they were going for. And that expressing yourself vocally is just you open your mouth and you comes out. You know, nothing else but you comes out. There's no editing. There's everything. Sure, you have life experiences, and if you're able to integrate them properly and make sense of them, then you have yourself a philosophy because you have life experiences to back it up. It's not just you parroting what someone else told you. You know, it's a disservice to the person who taught you because you don't go and actually you don't do any level 2 or level 3 introspection as to what they told you. You just parroted it and used it like a religion almost and said, oh, well, I'll hit you with this because I couldn't fight it. So if I couldn't fight it, then 2 to 1, you can't fight it either. It's not about fighting it. It's just, can you see what's being shown to you? Like, can you appreciate the gems you're getting and actually integrate them and learn them and make your life better and make other people's lives better? Or are you just going to just, you know, take it and run and try to beat people over the head with and try to win arguments, you know? So yeah, man. But that being righteous piece has been weighing heavily on me because there are certain aspects of your life where you know you're not being righteous, and I'm talking about righteous in the sense that he had spoken to it. Um, you know, you look in the mirror and you know that you didn't lie to yourself. And I know, of course, we have the 14 keys, and the key of righteousness is doing what's right in the current context. If you're doing what's right in the current context, then you don't necessarily have to worry about needing more information. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, if you have a certain situation where you want to be truthful, but you feel like there's more to it. If you're being if you're doing what's appropriate in the current perceptual context, that's kind of leading you on that path of righteousness. Not kind of, but it's leading you on the path of righteousness, because then you can say, okay, I'm missing something here, or someone's leaving something out. And if y'all want me to be involved in this, then y'all got to tell the whole truth and not try to swing me to one side. Um, yeah, Basquiat is another one on the radio who's like, you see Basquiat, you know that's Basquiat, you know. But yeah, man, Baba Olatunji was in Peter Tosh's documentary, Step and Razor, the red, was it the red tapes or the red X? And he had said that, you know, there's three sides to every story: is your side, my side, and the truth. And a lot of people, they try to pull the truth to their own side, as opposed to respecting the fact that, you know, you're here, the truth is over there, and the truth is standing up on its own. You know, it doesn't need your support. You're actually trying to rally to get the truth to support you, which is, it doesn't bend that way, you know. And that's something that you had to reckon with when you were dealing with Patrice O'Neal, because he will tell you the truth as he sees it, and you gotta either be able to have a comeback that's equally true, or you just gotta sit there and take it until he's done. Either one. There's another clip that I thought of. This is another one of my favorite comedians. This is Dave Chappelle, young Dave Chappelle too, on Inside the Actor's Studio, and he's talking about how he rationalized being an artist to his father, who was an academic. His whole family was, you know, a family of academics.
How old were you when you made your first TV development deal?
19. My mother and my grandmother were freaked out. You know, I was the first person in my family not to go to college that had not been a slave.
Right.
So I was really breaking from tradition. And it was like a graduation lunch we were having, and they had my dad come and talk to me, and my dad takes me outside and he's like, listen, this is some advice that applies to all you acting students. He says, to be an actor is a lonely life. Everybody wants to make it, and you might not make it. And I said to my dad, well, that depends on what making it is there. He was a smart ass kid. It depends on what making it is there. He says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a teacher. I said, if I can make a teacher salary doing comedy, I think that's better than being a teacher. And he started laughing. He said, if you keep that attitude, I think you should go. He said, but name your price in the beginning. If it ever gets more expensive than the price you named, get out of here. Thus, acting.
Yeah, so that was young Dave, and he was just talking about, well, he was telling the story of how he basically left to go for his first media deal, you know, one of his larger deals. And he went on to move away and do SNL and do movies and comedies, comedy specials and things like that. but he kept to what his father told him about the industry. You know, I think it was important that he was able to get some advice and guidance from his elder. You know, he had a father to give him that guidance. And I don't think it's a coincidence that most of the young people who are rich or famous, they, well, most young rappers, I should say, they don't have father figures. You know, a lot of the father figures are the industry itself, you know, or the ones who come with these deals. Even if they make it on their own, they have a lot of people around them who will always try to entice them to do the opposite of what's good for them. But I'm gonna play some more music, and you know, we'll come back to this idea of an artist philosophy.
Your love is like fire. Realized that so much when I first met you. That was some time ago. And everything, Jesus, no, close to you. See, oh yes, right from the start. Oh no, could never part. Oh, I hear from that part. Yes, I wanna live in your house. I wanna live in your house. I wanna live in your house. Your house. Wanna live in your house. You say, Child, knows what that is just from your heart. I was in a situation. Yeah, solution. What's the revelation? And triumph and war. Triumph and joy. Spots, Baba, Baba, spots, Baba. Spots, Baba, Baba. Spots, Baba, Baba, spots, Baba. Spots, Baba, Baba. Spots, Baba, Baba, spots, Baba. Spots, Baba, Baba. I wanna live in your house. I wanna live in your house. Oh, yeah. Too much for what's unsaid. Cause every close, everything that is so far away. But then I know one thing for certain. Cause at the closing of the oh, yes, I know one thing for certain. You'll be there, you'll be there. It's with you. That brings the flag up for my head. Once when I was in a little situation. Came with a solution. Once the revelation, triumphant call out, triumphant triumph. Spots, I wanna live in your house. Wanna live in your house. I wanna live in your house. Stepping out, stepping out, stepping out, stepping out. Open sesame, here comes Rasta. Abacadabra, catch me if you can. I know you find it hard to believe that I am the genie of the land, and I can do anything you wish for. Right now, I can hand it to dance. Stepping out, stepping out. Oh, I'm stepping out, stepping out. Invisible music, give me up to the cradle of sound. Rhythm and dance. You cannot see it nowhere on earth. And this reggae found. I said, I know you find it hard to believe that I am the genie of your love, and I can do anything you wish for. Right now, money to dance. Rain down, brimstone, thunder and lightning, hurricane, ooh, cyclone. As business I tell you what, I know you find it hard to believe that I am the genie of your life, and I can do anything you wish for. Right now, demanding me to dance. Stepping out, stepping, says I'm stepping, stepping out, stepping out, says I'm stepping. Journey through the tunnel of life. Wisdom is respected, hatred is rejected. I'm the kind of dread that says it rains down. Climb a ladder, hot tiger. Here comes Rastaman. Abacadabra, catch me if you can. Open sesame, here comes Rastaman. Abacadabra, catch me if you can. Hey, says I'm stepping. I said I'm stepping, I'm stepping, stepping, stepping. Says I'm stepping. I said I'm stepping, I'm stepping, stepping. Highest heights and artists, stepping. Rasta youth, dreadlocks, stop. Camel breaks, just can't stop. I'm in the groove and I just can't stop. In love with your music. Invisible music. I step, 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 I step. Rejoice, good tidings I bring you. Yeah, yeah. A message to you, my friends. Smile, invoke your angels. This special drop cannot comprehend. No, no way. The blues is beating. Spirit said, take the world off your shoulders. Put in the grave. Who step to take? Who sow in tears shall reap in joy. I sure you say it. I'm stumbling block, backsliders, Righteous reveal the secret of the scripture. Wicked devotion, disciples of Lucifer. In your hands lie your destination. The true life you overtook. Mystical powers to you. See the hand that has never been told. Somebody I want to change. Somebody I got to change. Somebody I want to change. Riches a vision here. Come on, walk this Trap these angels in dreams and their prayers. By the theology, by the visions in eyes, by the magic of our soul. Dash away the blues and the end. Spirit said, take the world off your shoulders. It's a grave, my friend. Jack drop it, cannot comprehend. Where you come from? As long as you're a black man, you're an African. Don't mind your nationality, you have got the identity of an African. But if you come from Clarendon, and if you come from Portland, and if you come from Westmoreland, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you come from Trinidad, and if you come from Nassau, and if you come from Cuba, you are an African. So don't you where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your complexion, there is no rejection, you're an African. Cause if your flexion high, if your flexion low, and if your flexion in between, you're an African. So think you where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. Don't mind denomination, that is only segregation, you're an African. Cause if you go to the Catholic, and you go to the Methodist, and you go to the Church of God, you're an African. So don't you where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, I've got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Kingston, and if you come from Kingston, and if you come from Kingston, and you come from Bronx, and you come from Brooklyn, and you come from though I trod through this valley, I will fear no evil. Though I trod through this valley, I will fear no evil. 'Cause I know Jah God, Jah God, Jah God. I choose this valley, and I knew when I'm trotting through that valley, I knew though my enemies fight me every day, I will fear through this valley. I know pestilence lurks in darkness. I feel no destruction walk with smiling faces. Till I will feel no
Okay, so I got one more clip. All right. Hopefully, you all still with me. I got one more clip to play. Just going on this journey through the idea of an actual philosophy for an artist. You know, some artists they do things for their own reasons, and the reason they got into art becomes their philosophy, right? And sometimes it's hard to track your progress if you're the sort of person who doesn't really have any type of sentimentality. You know, some people just they go on with it, and whoever's on the ride with them, then they do the biography because that person doesn't really care too much. They just care about the future. You know, sometimes artists can be like that, but there are some artists who can articulate what their process was like, and sometimes, like Patrice O'Neal was saying, just articulating how you feel and help other people to sort of encapsulate how it is that they feel about their journey, and maybe even help them to stick to it. So I'm gonna play this clip from Medea. All right, cool. You riding with me? Give thanks. I'll play this clip from James Baldwin, and he's speaking about an artist, um, even discovering that he is different from others. He sees the world differently. He sees things that other people don't, and how you may want to cope with that, especially since in the beginning, like Patrice O'Neal says, it's like a dream, right? You try to tell somebody your dream is like, even if they want to follow along with you, it's kind of difficult. So you keep it to yourself, right? And I like how Baldwin starts out with describing this period as like a kind of silence. So I'll just play it, and willfully it's going to be loud enough to pick up on the recording for later.
Myself, I won't say me, just for kicks for a minute. From and even opposed to necessarily any system, whatever. Let's trace it, just for kicks for a minute. And I'll use myself. I won't say me, but it's my story. The first thing an artist finds out is when he's very, very young. When I say young, I mean before he is 15. That is to say, before properly speaking, he or she can walk or talk. Before he or she has had enough experience to begin to assess his or her experience. And what occurs at that point in this hypothetical artist's life is a kind of silence. For reasons he cannot explain to himself or to others, he does not belong anywhere. Maybe you're on the football team, maybe you're a runner, maybe you belong to a church, you certainly belong to a family. And abruptly, in other people's eyes, this is very important, in other people's eyes, you begin to discover that you are moving and you cannot stop this movement to what looks like the edge of the world. Now, what is crucial, and one begins to understand it much, much later, is that if you were this hypothetical artist, if you were in fact the dreamer that everybody says you are, if in fact you are wrong not to settle for the things that you cannot, for some mysterious reason, settle for, if this was so, the testimony in the eyes of other people would not exist. The crime of which you discover slowly that you are guilty is not so much that you are aware, which is bad enough, but that other people see that you are and cannot bear to watch it because it testifies to the fact that they are not. You are bearing witness helplessly to something which everybody knows and nobody wants to face. Least of all, the hypothetical misfit who has not, as I said, learned how to walk or talk and doesn't know enough about experience to know what experience he has had. Well, one survives that, no matter how. By and by, your uncles and your parents and the church stops praying for you. They realize you want to do a bit of good. They give you up. And you proceed a little further, and your lovers put you down. They don't know what you're doing either. And you can't tell them because you don't know. You survive it. And in some terrible way, which I suppose no one can ever describe, you are compelled, you are corralled, you are bull-whipped into dealing with whatever it is that hurts you. And what is crucial here is that if it hurt you, that is not what is important. Everybody's hurt.
Oh, okay.
What is important, what bullwhips you, what corrals you, what drives you, torments you, is that you must find some way of using this to connect you with everyone else alive. This is all you have to do it with. You must understand that your pain is trivial, except insofar as you can use it to connect with other people's pain, and insofar as you can do that with your pain, you can be released from it, and then hopefully it works the other way around too. Insofar as I can tell you what it is like to suffer, perhaps I can help you to suffer less.
Yeah, so that was James Baldwin. And that last point was sort of like today's mathematics, right? Wisdom, culture, all being born to equality. So for those who are familiar with supreme mathematics, I won't assume that you are. Wisdom is the manifestation of knowledge. So let's say that I learned how to draw something, and I watched a couple of videos, but but I'm manifesting it now, right? So you can even look at the knowledge as my reference photo that I'm looking at. And wisdom doesn't mean that you know how to do it, right? Because that's what I have an eraser for. Wisdom is the act of applying knowledge. And it's symbolized by the woman who receives light or information or knowledge from her mind, right? Because the mind is what symbolizes the knowledge. And when that combines with, it's the number 2, by the way. So today's date is the 24th. That would be the 2 and the 24. And then you have culture, which would be the 4, culture freedom. And what culture freedom deals with is just the way that you do things. You know, how do you, let's say how I draw. You see my pencil is sharpened this way. Most people just use a pencil sharpener and they draw like this, like a tripod. But I learned, it's good to draw like this when you're trying to cover large areas and you don't want to make any heavy dents in the paper, right? So it's the way that I do it. And then you have the combination of 2 and 4, which is 6. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 6 is equality. And equality is being equal in your dealings. Just being equal in all your dealings, in all aspects of life, no matter where it is. You are who you are. Similar to like Patrice O'Neal, you are who you are at work, at school, on the stage, with your woman. No matter where you are who you are. You don't have a stage persona, so to speak. And what you have, you freely give to others that may lack it. And in doing so, you make them equal to yourself. So if someone doesn't know how to draw, and I say, well, I'll teach you how to draw, I'll teach you to the point where you're equal to me. But I'll also learn from it as well. So, yeah, so that equality piece. But it's similar to what Baldwin was just explaining in that last point, where he says, I can be released from my pain by helping others who may experience that similar pain to deal with it. But hopefully it'll work the other way around, where if I can tell you what it's like to suffer, perhaps I can help you to suffer less. So by sharing, that equality, by sharing something with you, then I can improve your life, But that's something that I really took from that talk. It was one of my favorite talks to listen to when I first heard it. I would play it over and over because it so readily encapsulates the beginning stages of an artist, and it gives a little bit more background to, I won't say exactly the position that Patrice O'Neal was in trying to describe what he wanted to do to his mother, but it does give you a little bit more understanding when it comes to that feeling. I know this is something I want to do, but there's like no track for it or no road for it, and it's like a leap of faith, and you keep falling. Like he said, which is a awesome analogy, because you don't know when you're gonna hit something solid, and you don't know if it's gonna be a pillow or if it's gonna be concrete or a bed of spikes. You don't know what you're gonna hit. You just know that you have to take a leap of faith, because whatever you're supposed to do is over the ledge that everyone is just peering over, or like Baldwin said, you're moving and you can't stop this movement to what looks like the edge of the world. But yeah, man, I'm gonna, continue playing some more music. But I thought that was a good trio of clips to play. I just remembered that final clip as I was drawing, but yeah, I thought it was a good clip to include, So I'm gonna play some more music, and then we can head out. Try not to keep your head too long. Oh yeah, Baldwin. He's a writer, right? And oh boy, here I go. I was gonna play music, but yeah, he is a writer. I'll just make this point and then go back to the music. He's a writer, and what that means is he has a way with words. He described that to a T. I don't know anyone else who could have described it the way that he did. Not to say that he was the only person who could describe it, but because his perspective was there, just think of how many people that helped to um, continue on with what they were doing, because it definitely helped me to continue on with what I was doing when I was finally getting back into drawing after a long hiatus. Not this hiatus, previous one. Yeah, man, it's definitely something. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. But so she's saying my bad. But yeah, it's definitely something that is important to understand. Just speaking your mind as articulately and truthfully as possible, it holds so much more power than we give ourselves credit for being able to channel. And I think if we stop trying to equate what comes out of us with our idea of what we are, then we realize how much more effective and efficient we can actually be, because it's not just us. That's the thing. It's not just you. There's an indwelling intelligence that's older and wiser than your flesh body. And if you only consider yourself to be the flesh body, then you'll only really give credit to your flesh body, whether good or bad. You could give credit to your ego for being clever, or you can limit yourself to the limitations of the body, or the perceived limitations of the body. Neither one of them is good, because you got to realize that there's something that's been placed inside of you that you're here to express. And like, this is the whole essence of the philosophy, right? There's something there that you're here to express, and it's not something that was placed there lightly. It took a lot of people, a lot of ruined sheets to get to you. A long lineage of people going through whatever they had to go through to produce you. And whatever you bring to the planet is something unique to you, because you have a unique heritage and a unique composition, whether it's spiritually or physically or mentally. But yeah, man, that's the end of my spiel. So I'm glad that it was free. Yeah, man. So as I continue to plug away with these locks, I'm gonna do the locks, and then I'm gonna get some darker shades in. And looking at the time, this may be a 3-parter. I'm getting a little better with the speed aspect. This is definitely gonna be 3 parts. All right, so everyone, yeah, let me go back to the music.
Milan, quite illegal. In Milan, dig out me gold. In Milan, digging out the pearl. In Milan, dig out me diamond. We have to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. We got to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. up your party. You're in a Milan. They build up your regime. You're in a Milan. Only talk about justice. You're in a Milan. Handing down injustice. We gonna fight, 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 fight. Against apartheid. Brothers got to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. You're in a Milan. You know me, the black children. You're in a Milan. No hospital, the black people. You're in a Milan. You build your prison. You're in a Milan. You build your camp. We got to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. We gotta fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Africa is the black man. Remember, there's certain place in Africa, black man get no recognition. So we have to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Black man got to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Across the border, we shoot after children. Across the border, we shoot down women. Across the border, you take your might. Across the border, to peace and life. We gonna fight, 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 fight against apartheid. We got to fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Ask for majority, majority rule, minority. But that wouldn't rule me. So we gon' fight, 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 fight against apartheid. We gonna fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Break off from Britain. You're quite illegal. Right there you are. You get the forces. Colonial power.
If you had to paint the gutter, which color would you choose? Said the patron to the painter. The painter said the blues. Do you act up intuition or language in Peru? More like tap into tradition from the angle of my mood. He looked back at his canvas or straggling a tube. A master of the palette, all sanguine and cool. The music mostly jazz, the jazz mostly old. Punctured by some punk and some old smoky soul. An atlas on the truck from the land of broken ghosts. Just a cover in the back that you open and you close. Where are all the pages? The painter said defanged. I ripped them all out and made some paper planes. Fish grease absorbers and some origami cranes. Poured itself a drink and then poured it down the drain. Looked at the empty canvas, said I think I have a name. I'll call it gasoline. Pouring on the flames. I appreciate the visit, this isn't normally allowed. You consider yourself wilder, fall into a style. The patron pointed at a pile of those rejections or mistakes. The painter said that is not for question or debate. Most of what we know as art is the projection of a faith. The product of a pontiff for the election of a saint. A gift from the red for the digestion of the caint. A visual garnish for the confessions of the frank. Displays of physical carnage, make connections to the ranks. Goes over very well with South Americans and Yanks. Not to sound shamanistic, but there's medicine in pain. It gets kinetic if you let it. There's a fetish in its strength. Modern will call Russian roulette is in the flanks, and most will pull the trigger if the weapon's full of blanks. But when there's a pool of sharks and you step into the tank, that's the pool of art that got them headed to the plank. But they fell for the deceptiveness of the secularist complaint. The upheaval of the cathedrals into the edifice of bank. The pile over there is just the evidence of angst. The felt revival of a perfectionist when his efforts have just sank. A selection of the waste that lacks direction or a base. You lose all of the plots for the affections of a race. Man does not become superior because you connect him to a cape, nor does become inferior because you connect him to an ape. I never wanted my life to be a collection of some dates and holiday my days away, intellectually sedate. It's not really a beat, but conceptually it's stake. Like genitals and gender roles successfully conflate. The current art world is just competitively opaque. It never ceases to amaze. My mouth is medically agate. One day it's raising up the brand, the next it's shredding it to flakes. And the velocity of trends is what referees the pace. Professionally accept what ethically I hate. So in all of my work, you see this wrestling with fate. Deceiving in the brushstrokes, how aggressively I straight. Less like putting on some makeup, more like severing a face. Wow. Said the patron with a smile. That's the most interesting diatribe I've heard in a while. How you articulated the nature and put it all on trial. Took it up to heaven, then put it on the ground. The painter asked the patron, can you stand up on the pile? I've had a flash of inspiration, my creativeness aroused. The model took its place. The painter grabbed the lighter, doused the shit in gasoline and set it all on fire. Fire, 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 fire. You see? I know you see. Signs of intelligent life, mosquito that repel the Nephilim bites. Look at the night, nice, we look alike. They want to slice of your dreams. Even Christ took a knife for the team, so swing. Yeah. Fatal find guillotine. Yeah. I just come around to help. Like Batman utility belt. All by myself with the world on my delts. We can chill while it melts. The beat bill feel like it's felt. My suspicion Christians killed off Celts. What else? What else? Forget what happened in the past. You gotta let it go like what happened to the gas. Can't have such an anathema inside a mass. It'll ruin your communion and soil all of your fast. Stay away from rebels worshiping the devil like jazz. Where heaven loses a job, hell wins staff. Looking over macroeconomic math, kind of waiting and calculating how much time that we have and put it all in the graph. Look at all of the past, but look at Instagram and go back and split it in half. I ain't rapping, what's happening is blowing glass. Track is tapping drums and crystals blowing the brass. On that beautiful musical moving you like an inner cool Subaru with the tiny man saying, look at what I do for you. A nice chicken Vesuvio. Being no fault often. Random Sicilians, I be walking like the ambiance and talking. My favorite part is when all of the affogatos is brought and you can put Dolce Vita chicken risotto in my coffin. It's a... Yeah, I was at Roxbury on Malcolm X block. Talking that talk, they got Malcolm X watch. Trying to pick up when Malcolm X stop. Only game I play is a Malcolm X box. Look in the sky, see the Malcolm X ring. Malcolm X files, it's a Malcolm X thing. As you ask yourself, what does Malcolm X mean? I return to the force in the Malcolm X swing. And scene. You know they want to slice your dreams. But even Christ took a knife for the team, so swing.
Is what your thoughts, they manifest the activities of your thinking. I don't be a thank you for being a part of my life. Them I wonder how we do this, them go with hate and hunger. Future profit, but as me locks get longer, you then heart it a twist. No spread no propaganda, cause you can't stop this. Now them I wonder how they get for you to sleep and go with hate and hunger. With the profit, but as we locks get longer, you then heart it a twist. We not make no feel no sponsor, so no can't stop this. Just say no about me, there's some me no business, I hold it up. Every nation, this you have to do, no man about that dancer. And we are on the crew, we're coming on 2002. They stand against you and hating me. Them just can't go to them heart, not clean or free. I remind them so much of who they are supposed to be. I'm a loyalty, them lost their identity. Now them I wonder how we do this and go with great and hunger. Future profits, but as we lack stayed longer, then heart it a twist. Let's spread no propaganda, cause you can't stop this. Every man for their own. The fact remains, Mr. will be found. Ooh, get up your pulse and price the door. While you are behind, this is the Rastaman. This is the Rastaman sound. We are immune to criticism. We know that God will face the challenge and all less for power. power of love. Now I see you want us to be like a rope. That's where we can be saturated with all the blood. But now them I wonder how we do this thing where we hate and hunger. With our profits, but as we love scale longer, feed them hearty touches. The spread the propaganda, cause you can't stop. Yo, them all up under. How the youths are slick. They come with all them hunger. This stop it, but as we love scale longer, feed them hearty touches. Now taking no fitness man, so no can't stop. It is the portion of life. Most naturally it is nature. And if you know right, me say you can't stay about ya. Free yourself and just step over. If you want know your roots, you would be in tune with nature. What are we doing? It's just true. Life was taught me the very things we do. It was all day for me and you. You have lost your way, now you don't have a clue. Now them I wonder how we do this to go. Hate and hunger. With your profits, but as them last get longer, hidden heart to touches. That's when your propaganda, cause you can't stand this. The way how them I wonder how the Rasta man so sleep. Them go with hate and hunger. This stop it, but as them last get longer, hidden heart to touches. That's when your propaganda, cause you can't solve. Just no abomination and some in a business. How this is for each and everyone. This you have to do, no man about that danger. And now we are on the crew. We're coming on the 2002s. They stand against you. Hating me. Just can't go to because they're in cloth of free. I remind them so much of who they are supposed to be. I'm on royalty. The last of my identity. Now the whole of them I wonder how we do it. Then come with them hunger. We got profit. Whoa, whoa. Always I've been here all day of my life. Work student queer, I behold with my sight. Some will share, others do as they like. Some you flex them want here with them fork and knife. Some don't care, their heart is like ice. I'm talking like the devil times, but I'm holding firm. Every man deserves to earn. Judge from a plant with success, holding firm. Every man deserves to earn. You won't think I'm a mess, you say I'm a fool. It's an attitude, yeah. I don't choose, I don't lose, so on your way. Money is the order of your day. Choosing your wealth, that won't stay. Want to come to do mine and choose, and then kiss me and love me include. Every obstacle I am move, yeah, it's a food, all I recruit. All in firm, every man deserves to earn. Judge a crown of plant with success, all in firm. Every man has his turn. You won't think I'm the best. And see your brother make a call and you turn and get vexed. I hear you know hear, but I neglect you and neglect. Can't see bad. Tell me how you feel, I've been watching you. With your words of deceit in your heart, do you feel complete? All the good, all I to go in, all in firm. Every man has its turn. Judge a crown of plant with success, all in firm. Every man deserves to earn. Check on my plans with success, all in firm. Every man deserves to earn. Check on my plans with success, all in firm. Every man has his turn. You won't think there's even less. I've been here all day of my life. Works good and queer, I behold with my sight. Some share others do as they like. Some you bless them one and with them fall online. Some don't care, their heart is like ice. After killing another every time, but I'm holding firm. Every man deserves to earn. That I come up like with success, holding firm. Every man deserves his turn. You won't think I even mess with yes. Whoa, whoa. Always whoa, whoa. Them corner on them friends twist. Know about them so them their face are not fit. And raise the pizza smile and the princess will kiss. Tell me for this way and this way now holding firm. Every man deserve to earn. Judge a crown our plans with success. Holding firm. Every man deserves this turn. Don't you think I'm the best? I've been there all day on my life. Works good and queer and beyond with my sight. Some will say you're always do as they like. Some you trust them what here with them fork and knife.
All right. I think that's it for the night. Got the hair down, a little bit more facial features, put in some shadows. I think it's looking all right so far. You know, I just want to focus on likeness next time and getting those other values. And I might still play around with this a little bit more, but I don't want these to go past 2 hours. You know, I know an hour is a lot for some people to just sit still. So give thanks for, riding with me. You know, so next strong we're gonna be finishing this one up. I'll probably do one or two more things to it tonight. And then yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, give thanks for coming through and riding with me and listening to my spiel about philosophy. Hopefully you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace out.